Our new intern is a Kevin, and the only reason we haven't fired him is to keep collecting stories. My husband owns a small plumbing business that primarily does labor but also runs a small retail storefront with parts and basic appliances, etc. Every so often he'll participate in a jobs readiness program with a local high school where you take on a student intern for a semester. They get credit and experience in the working world. You get free labor and some positive community exposure. Usually the kids are great, sometimes better than the paid employees. But this semester he got Kevin. A brief sampling of Kevin's misadventures in the 4 hours a week he spends clerking in my husband's storefront. One of his biggest jobs is to answer the phone. On his first day he was instructed to pick up and say custom quality plumbing. Don't forget to ask about our seasonal maintenance deal specials. How can we help you today? Instead, he was answering the business phone. Kevin residence, who's calling please? When confronted he explained he forgot the greeting and this is how his mother had taught him to answer phones. On his first day of work my husband did the standard welcome he does for all new employees. He brought in donuts and gathered everyone around to meet the new guy. When asked to say a few words about himself he said I chose this job because all the good ones were taken. And when asked what he knows about plumbing he told a detailed story of a toilet clogging dump he took a few months ago. One day he was asked to clean the break room kitchen. Someone had happened to bring in bagels. He threw out all the poppy seed bagels because they had mold on them. And quat. My husband took him to a job site once to get a feel for interacting with customers and basic repairs. Kevin asked the client if he could take home a framed photo of the client's teenage daughter hanging in the living room. For the first couple weeks Kevin kept stealing lunches from the break room, then denying he had done it when the other employees called him on it. It's a small business and obvious when someone has your food, then trying to pay them to give him their lunch. The first day he brought his own lunch he brought a pound of raw chuck and complained of an unsuitable work environment when my husband informed him there was nowhere for him to grill it at the store. He ate it raw. He got sick and had to go to the hospital. The company was hosting a holiday coat drive and asked Kevin to type up the flyer. Understanding his limits by this point they just instructed him to alter the date on the previous year's flyer. He managed to mess that up even still, and didn't notice until he had printed 250 full-color copies of the flyer. He thought if he threw the flyer out no one would know, but he threw it out in the main office trash can. Kevin's definitely never so much as seen drugs in his life, but he's always talking like he's original gangster. He approached a large tattooed African-American employee at the business, who is actually a church pastor, an addiction counselor, and a volunteer sheriff, and tried to buy drugs from him. To impress a girl Kevin volunteered to watch her dogs while working. I don't know the circumstances of why she asked a stranger to watch her dogs, but after about 15 minutes Kevin got tired of waiting for her, and let the dogs loose. She came back looking for him and he pretended as though he'd never met her. Edit. My husband says Kevin walked out of work to chat her up and she asked him to watch them while she went into a no dogs allowed store. So he knew where she was when he let them go. But he also says she got them back. Kevin had a decent amount of money saved from birthdays and Christmases. He often liked to flex on the other employees that he didn't need to work. He was just doing this for school. He had all the money he'd ever need. But turns out he didn't even have it anymore because he lost all of it going long on GameStop at the height on the frenzy. He is irate that he could not sell his stock back at the original price and still on some level believes he was scammed. He has aspirations to be a famous TikToker, so would always be setting up these asinine pranks like trying to bust in on people while using the toilet, rigging heavy objects to fall on people, or yelling fire when there is no fire. That was when my husband and the others in charge met to discuss cutting him but decided the entertainment value of his Kevinness was worth sticking it through to the end of the semester. It all made sense when we met Kevin's mother. Kavina recently came in and confronted my husband as to why Kevin wasn't being paid for his work. He explained that it was a for credit program through the high school, thinking Kevin might have intentionally misled his mother, but no matter how he explained it, she didn't get it, and kept insisting he pay Kevin, and kept taking about points on the back end as well. Kavina knocked over an entire display on her way in and did not acknowledge it, try to clean it, or offer to pay for what was broken. In fact, she charged right ahead with making her original demands. Kevin's dad is not in the picture and he's been calling my husband and a couple of the other guys at work dad semi-jokingly. When Kavina came in, after making her demands for payment, she asked my husband how he plans to stay in Kevin's life if this is really only a semester. Kevin turned 18 last month. He celebrated by getting a Calvin pissing tattoo over his left pec, with his nipple serving as the penis. We know, because he showed an infection on the site to a young family who'd come in to buy an L pipe. I'll ask my husband if there's anything I'm missing, but that's the crux of Kevin the Junior Plumber for you.